Hello, hello, everyone out there. You are here with the Get Awesome live show. I am your co host, Jen Drakes, and your original goddess. And with me is my co host.
Hi, I'm Coach Katie. I am here to help you get your ULA life.
All right. And we're a little few minutes late, but apologies on that. Some technical difficulties we had to clear up. And our show today is that we are giving you guidance on planning and goal setting. And we have been talking about goal setting for quite some time, and we're going to sound like broken records, but it's because, in all honesty, I do not feel any way in repeating what we're saying because it is that important. Too many people are just existing through life. They're just like on a ship or on some kind of boat in a water, and they're just swimming around and moving around, going nowhere with no destination. And goal setting helps you to actually steer that boat in a very specific direction and taking very specific strokes towards that destination. So it is really important as someone that sets goals every single year for the last, I do not know how long. I do not know how people go through life without setting goals. But so I am always going to be a advocate and a voice for setting goals. And I know Katie is as well. So without further ado, let's kickstart this whole planning and goal setting. So over to you. I still don't know what's up. So I'm gonna make it look like a dance. Over to you, over to you, Katie.
Thanks. Hey, if you're joining us live, please drop a comment in so we can acknowledge you and thank you for participating tonight. So, last month we did our ULA wheel, and you can probably see, I'm like you, I don't know which way to point. You can see the little bicycle wheel hidden in the back.
You're touching right on it. You literally are.
You know how you roll, and you know what areas. Remember, there's 7 areas in ULA. There is fitness, finance, family, field, which is your career, faith, friends, and fun. So the idea is when we get to this section of sort of the ULA, it's the ULA plan we're talking about, right? We've done the ULA wheel. Now we're doing the ULA plan. And this is where you take time, and it will take you time, to look at your dreams and your goals. And feel free to jump in anytime, Jen.
Will do.
Dreams come from the heart. Dreams are huge. Dreams are that pie in the sky, that lighthouse in the distance. Dreams should be something that scares you. If your dream doesn't scare you, it's too small. And so you need to dream bigger. Dreams seem like that's something like, like you could be 50 pounds overweight, but your dream is to participate in an Ironman triathlon in Hawaii, right? That can be frightening. If you've never done any of that, if you've never been an athlete, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I could dream about doing that, right? That's your dream. So you should dream with your heart, and your goals come from your head. So Dr. Troy said, and I just read this today, the ULA plan is your fingerprint. It is for you and you only. It's your life, your dreams, your plan. And Dr. Dave says, your ULA plan is your shopping list for the life you desire and deserve.
And I want to stop here for a minute before we actually go into the planning, because this part is very dear to me. And I cover it in my book as well, that for some reason, when we got older, we stopped dreaming. And the part I take you back to in my book is, remember when you were kids and you would lie down. And I remember doing this like so often. You would lie down on your back. You'd be having friends all around you, or just a little best friend next to you. You'd lie down your back, look up to the sky, and you would dream all sorts of things. You would talk about your dreams, and there was never any fear about them. There was never any question about whether they were real, attainable, not attainable. You just dreamed. And for some reason in our childhood, I don't, it's hard to always trigger where it stopped, but some adult, I'm telling you right now, some adult said something that stopped you from dreaming that big. And what I'm always pushing people to do is go back to that. If you didn't have this heavy keychain, because I always say our responsibilities, you can always tell adult responsibility by how much keys are on their keychain and how heavy they are. So if you forget about the keychain and forget about the responsibilities for just 10 minutes, what would you say? And go back to that state of being a child. What would you say your dream is? What would you want to do? What did you want to do that somebody kind of nonchalantly just said, well, who are you kidding? Or some kind of flippant remark that made you feel you couldn't do it. What is that big auspicious thing on your bucket list? What is the dream? Because that's what you're planning and your goal setting should go after to attain. Come back to the state where you believed you could do it. Just believe, dream, plan, and live it. Sorry. And in between each of those things are action. You're taking action. So that's what I have to say. That's my passion. I really want people to stop feeling frightened by their dreams and just dream big, plan it out one step at a time. It could take a year, it could take 2 months, it could take 5 years. Your dream may be so big it takes 10 years. Doesn't matter. As long as you're moving towards that, you will find happiness. I'm done. I'm done. That's how passionate I am about this. Guys, you gotta dream. Dream big.
Right. And in ULA, they talk about that you had a dream as a child, and some adult, a parent, a teacher, an aunt, or an uncle said some sort of comment along the lines of, well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that? You'll never make any money doing that. Or, you have to have a college degree. How are you going to get to college to do that? Whatever it was, right? They poo-pooed your dream. So most of us just shut down our dreams, right? Yeah. And forgot all about it. A very small percentage of people learned not to share their dreams because they knew what kind of reaction they knew what they were going to hear, and they just didn't want to hear it. So they were focused, and they were, driven to their dream, and they knew their passion early on. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't, right? A lot of us in our 40s, 50s, after working for a corporation for like 30 years, we know that's not our passion, but we don't really know what our passion is. So that's what this part is, right? It starts out going through, right, my little 7 F's of ULA, right? I've got my little dream stickers.
No.
Each of the 7s.
I love it.
Right? These are goals or dreams. And if you know anything about ULA, I gotta figure out where to put it. If you know anything about ULA, you know that they have the ULA bus.
Yeah.
Now, given COVID, they've not been able to crisscross the country, but they've been crisscrossing the country on this 1970 ULA bus, collecting people's dreams. They were on a mission to collect over 1 million dreams. Right? And that bus now has 27 layers of these dreams on it, right? So if you're watching this live or you're watching it on a repeat, if you want to send me a dream, I'll put it on one of these stickers. And when I go to their conference in Nashville this year, I will bring these, and they will have the ULA bus there, and I will stick your dream on the ULA bus. All right, so let's get into sort of the meat of this.
So look what we got from on the chat from Belgium. I
I
can
know.
feel,
Welcome, Belgium.
yeah, I can feel that passion up there in Belgium. I love your energy, ladies. Just
I
thought
know. You just need to, whoever you are, you just need to do the, do you have the StreamYard link?
yeah, it comes up. It comes up there. So they just need to go so we can see who it is.
Right. Otherwise, we just Facebook user. We don't know who it is.
But
But thank you for watching us because we know what time it is in Belgium. So
it's crazy.
Insomniac or
I suspect I know who it is. They should be in bed if it's who I think it is.
Okay.
They should be in bed.
All right. So here's the thing. Go through the 7 areas, right? Fitness, finance, family, field which is your career, faith, friends, and fun. Right? So go through those areas. Think of what your big dream is in that area. Right? What's that impossible pie in the sky, lighthouse in the distance, whatever it is, right? Think of that dream. Then the goal setting part is what are the steps you need to take to get to that dream, right? And again, like Jen said, it may take you 2 months. It may take you, a year, may take you 5 years, may take you 10 years. It's Nancy. Thanks, Nancy, for watching us. It may take, 10 years to get to that dream. But remember that in this life, it's the journey that's important, right? It's not necessarily the destination. It's the journey we're on our way to our dream.
Exactly. And I would even say, Katie, don't even worry about how long it's going to take. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure the ULA guys, when they said 1 million stickers on a bus, when they started out with 0 stickers, and even when they got the first 5, it seemed like if the 1 million stickers was a long way away, but God knows they probably hit the 1 million and more, 27 layers. So the thing is that don't worry about how big your dream. Don't worry so much about how long it could take to get to your dream. Start the steps to pursue your dream. And they could be small. They could be a little bit of a stretch step if you have those ability and the capacity to do those big steps. But you can start with small steps. I guarantee you, if you're going after your dream, you will attract the people that help you foster that dream. The ULA guys had to create a movement with the bus that they literally did, and that's attraction. So we just need you to dream, and we need you to start planning the baby steps.
Right. Now, to give you an example of a huge dream, the ULA guys' newest dream is to reach 1 billion people. They want across the globe. They want to have 1 in 7 people have heard of ULA. And they may know more about it, but they've at least heard of ULA. And they always give the example, they could be in Phuket, go into a bar in Phuket and can ask, to the bar in general, has anybody in here heard of ULA? And 1 in 7 people in that bar will raise their hand. That's a massive dream, right? Can you imagine? That's a massive dream. But they're not worried. That's their dream.
Right.
So you have your big dream, and then you work on your goals. And next month, we're going to take it even deeper to tell you your daily actions. But for this month, we're working on our goals in our 7 little areas, right? I feel like a card dealer in Vegas.
I love the colors, how they all come together. And you match my shirt. One of them, a couple.
Any goal. So really, if you're doing this from the start, the idea is you set 3 goals in each one of these 7 areas, right? And that means you would end up with 21 goals, but we're going to whittle it down because we know 21 goals. If you do the work and you set your 21 goals, you're going to look at that, and then your first thought is going to be what? Right. Oh my God, I can't do this. Right? So don't panic. Right? Hi, Joanna. Thanks for watching us. Right, don't panic. But
hey, Joanna.
So try and set, 3 goals in each one of the 7 areas. Right now, and I know Jen has her own view of this, so she's gonna chime in on this. All right, so
I have my own dream. Oh, my dream is huge. My dream is for 2 million people to plant their seeds of worth, following our movement. So that my dream is big already, but I'm not worried.
I know. Well, I'm going to talk about. This is what I was referring to. That dreams should be smart, and if you've been in the business world, and have had to do business planning and set goals, you're probably very familiar with the SMART acronym, right? Your dream should be specific. It should be measurable. You should have some way to be held accountable, whether that's an accountability partner, whether it's, your weight loss counselor, whoever it is, your sister or whatever. It should be realistic, right? So you don't have a goal that I'm going to lose, 50 pounds by April 1st. That's not going to happen. Sorry. It'd be nice, but that's not going to happen. So it needs to be realistic, because you want to taste success with your goals, right? So if you set something that's unrealistic, you're going to be, that's like New Year's resolutions, right? Usually people set all these New Year resolutions on January 1st, and by February 1st, half of them have disappeared, right? Because they were so unrealistic and you didn't know how to do them, right? And they should be time-based.
Yeah.
Now you had another, do you remember what you said? You had another.
Oh yeah, I had what did I have?
I wrote them down.
Oh no, what I had was for specific, right? Because we're talking now SMART goals. Right. What I had was simple, sensible, significant.
Yep, I've got them written down.
Yeah. Oh, you do have them written down? Yep. Perfect.
So M, you had meaningful and motivating.
Yep.
Accountable, you had attainable.
Yep.
Realistic, you had results oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And time-based, you had time sensitive.
Yeah.
So sort of the same thing.
Yeah. Just different ways. Some people find it sometimes more, depending on if you're very business oriented or you're more personal based. You know what I mean? If I think most people in business or in the corporate environment has heard of SMART and are familiar with some of the more like measurable, terms. But if you aren't, sometimes it's easier to think results based, motivating, significant, to kind of just get a grasp for what they mean. Now, one thing that I do want to speak to is one thing. So we talk about dream. We talk about setting the goals against the dream in very reasonable, attainable steps so that you can see achievements. But I want to also emphasize none of this is going to happen without commitment. And that's where, to what Katie spoke about, the difference between resolutions and goal setting is resolutions are made in this kind of fun, you're drinking champagne. Oh, so I've eaten too much over the holiday, so I want to lose my 20 pounds in 2 weeks, all these kind of ridiculous types of things. But goal setting is truly, truly a practical thing to motivate you. But none of it's going to happen without any action. So remember I said in between all those things I called out, you need action. So an action requires commitment. So if you're just going to do goal setting and put it aside and walk away and come back to it a month later or 2 months later, nothing's going to work for you. Right. Let's face it. You're not going to move any needles for yourself. You're not going to step anywhere for yourself. So commitment is a critical piece of the goal setting. Not only do you set goals, but you're committed to achieve them, and you're committed to check on your achievements at periods throughout the year and do a final year-bound check at the end of the year. So there's a process to this that you need to change your own narratives to make it become habit. And the first little bit, it takes practice, and you might slide back, but keep going at it. And I truly believe if it is your gift that aligns with your dream, your natural innate gift that has been given to all of us were given a gift. And if your dream is aligned to that, achieving your goals are going to be a blast because you're going to love it. And two, it's going to be easy.
Oh, right. Absolutely. And
right?
So one of the things we'll talk about next month is called the ULA Path.
Mm-hmm.
The ULA Path is taking those goals and breaking them down into, and I'll talk about it more, your oranges and your Skittles. And your Skittles, and you can just see them right up there in the background. It's a pitcher full of Skittles. And the Skittles are, and I'll talk about it more next month, but the Skittles are those everyday things that we need to do: pay bills, do laundry, take the kids to soccer practice, do the grocery shopping, pick up the dry cleaning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That we can allow all of those things to take over our day and get in the way of focusing on our oranges, and our oranges are those goals. All right, so let's get back to the goals. We set 21 goals. We're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Your next step, and we put this particular worksheet, excuse me, in the units, is to pick your top 7, right? And your top 7 doesn't necessarily have to be one from each area, because maybe you're rocking it on finance. So maybe you don't need to set, you don't need to focus on that, because you're already focused on that and you're already rocking it, right? So pick your top 7, right? And I take my top 7 and I write them on this card. And I keep this card in front of me on my desk every day, right? So I look and I can cross off stuff as I do them. And some of my goals are ongoing, like my work with the rescue group. That's ongoing for me. I have a morning routine I do. That's ongoing. But I do have some other stuff, which are not. And again, there is a date and a time attached to these. They are specific, and they are sort of based off of, if you're stuck for goals, go back to your ULA wheel, go back to your questionnaire and look at the questions under each category that you scored you scored lowest on. Like you scored, a 5 or a 4, or maybe you even had to give yourself a 0 because it was something you weren't doing. And that should sort of help you with your focus. If you're feeling lost and overwhelmed and you're thinking, I don't know how to start this, go back to your ULA wheel quiz and look at the questions that were asked, and that should sort of prime the pump, as it were.
And the other thing I want to to bring in, there's 2 areas of our life. There's personal life and business life, or professional life. And sometimes we have to set goal settings in both of them as well, like do goals related to both of them. And I don't want that forgotten. That's fine. But at the end of the day, we are really talking about how you as an individual is moving your life forward. And over and above the 7 that ULA calls out, there's also other things like goals related to your attitude. Is there something about yourself that you want to change? Sometimes for me, I have goals that are artistic goals because I love the arts. And so sometimes I will have a goal related to shows I wanted, like live Broadway shows or concerts or things that I want to attain in the year. So I just want to call those kind of extra things that people might not know where they fit within the 7, Katie, of the ULA. But I want to talk about things like attitude, artistic. Education is another one too. Some people may have goals around their own education, right? And where they want to go related to that. So I just want to call it those extra things that may not be easily decipherable in the 7 buckets of ULA, to let them know it is justified. You can set goals for those. So there we go. And you might know where they fit, Katie. But when I was just looking, there were just a few things I wondered, like especially artistic.
Well, see, I was artistic under fun.
Oh, under fun? Okay.
artistic, if you want to, you want to do paint, or you want to take a
Mhm.
ceramics class, or like you mentioned, you wanted to go to some Broadway plays. To me, that would go under fun.
Okay, and where would education go?
See, it depends on what you're getting. If
Like
you're
somebody says, I want to do a master's or a
Uh,
PhD, where would that go?
if I would put that probably under field, because if you're going to
Okay.
get your MBA, it's because want to, or you're going to get a master's in counseling. It's because maybe you're working at Denny's now, but you want to get a master's in counseling. Well,
Mhm.
you want to counsel people. To me, that would be your field, your career, because you're
Okay.
getting the education to change something or to chase a dream of your career, of how you want to serve people.
Okay. And I wonder, do those that have joined us, do you guys set goals? Are you guys natural goal setters, or you're learning that? Like, where do you place? If you're still there, maybe you want to put that in. But yeah, and the other one that I had was education, artistic, and what was the other one? Now I'm trying to attitude. Where would you put attitude changes, like personalized things about yourself that you do want to change?
I guess it sort of depends on, attitude. I agree with you, is sort of outside the 7.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but it's, I guess to me, it sort of depends on what specific things you're looking to change. Attitude is,
I call it like anything, like, we like, even as you connect in and do interpersonal connections, there's things people might say about you. I don't like this, I don't like that. But I always say, you don't have to change what people say. You don't even have to listen. You have to decide what about yourself you love, and what about yourself you don't love. And if there's something about yourself you don't love, the only person that can change it is you. So to me, that would go in your goal setting, to say, I want to change this. Maybe I'm too sensitive or something, right? I find I'm too sensitive. I don't want to be sensitive about X, Y, or Z. So that would go in my goal setting. And that's okay. That's actually quite healthy. And quite encouraged that you do that, because nobody can change you. You've got to change yourself. So where do you put those types of things? So I just want the audience to know that it's a valid thing, and to put on their goals. That's okay to cover that as well.
And right, really, this is just in my mind, an extremely helpful framework. But again, like the ULA guy said, it's your shopping list for the life you desire and deserve, right? This is your plan, and only your plan. So however you want to make it, I'm just offering the ULA framework, these 7 areas, because I find, and you probably find this too, Jen, that a lot of people are just sort of at a loss when it comes to setting goals in their life about, where do I start? What do I include? So the ULA framework, it's a framework. It gives you a framework of, I can start here, right? And you may find that you need to tweak it. And that's fine, because again, it's your plan, your life, your and your goals. So you have to make it work for you, right? So, I just recommend starting with the ULA plan, right? The ULA framework and the ULA plan. And Johanna, we're going to talk about being consistent next month, and how to make that work. Because I see your comment. So, stick with us and we'll get you there. So you've done your 21 goals, whittle it down to 7 that you want to focus on. And something new that they added this year, which they recommend, is pick a goal, and it can be one of these 7, or you could throw in an 8th one. That is something that you can get done within the next 60 to 90 days.
You're right.
So you get a taste of success. Some of these will be far out. Let's go back to my example of being, 50 to 60 pounds overweight and wanting to do a triathlon in Hawaii. Right? That's that lighthouse. My hand disappears. That's that lighthouse in the distance. See, it's so far you can't even see where it is. Right? So then your goals are, what are the steps that you need to take to get there?
Right.
right? And so keeping that dream in mind, what is a goal that you could take care of and achieve within the next 60 to 90 days on that? Maybe it's join a gym, right? You've never been to a gym. And again, here, you know, the ULA guys would break down the join a gym into goals like, okay, you've never gone to a gym. You're nervous about going to a gym. You're afraid you're going to be judged. You know, you have all this inner chatter in your mind about this. People are going to laugh at me. I won't know how to do anything, right? So they would say, okay, so maybe one of your goals is to drive by the gym and wave as you go past it, right? And maybe the second goal is, okay, I'm going to pull in the parking lot. I'm at least going to pull in the parking lot and park in front of the gym, right? And then the third goal is I'm going to actually go into the gym and talk to somebody, right? So that's, to me, that's not frightening, right? That seems to be an easy way to approach this. Don't think that you have to like join a gym and sign up for 10 classes and get a personal trainer right off the bat. No, you're being too hard on yourself.
Right.
Make it easy. Think baby steps, right? And even a babier step was, let me check out the gyms in my town, what they offer, how much they cost while I'm sitting in front of my computer, my laptop. Let me do that. And then let me, sort of maybe drive by all 3 gyms in my town, right? Wave as I go by. So make it easy on yourself, right? Don't try to do, don't get so wrapped up that you get lost before you even get started.
Yeah, the other aspect to it too that I want to think is, let's say with the exercise, right? Or losing weight. People always think, okay, when I say I want to go and exercise, but I hate exercise. Let's just say somebody's like, I'm like that. I don't like exercise, but I know I have to exercise to lose weight, right? But guess what? I love swimming. So why would you go to a gym and do a HIIT program or some yoga program when all you need to do is go to a rec center and maybe do like go swimming for half an hour or whatever, something you enjoy, and just keep doing that. And next thing you know, you're doing like a water exercise program, but it's around what you naturally enjoy. And then when you find your fitness is going up, you might then migrate to let me go walking or do something else. But why would you take that heavy step? Because this is where people get discouraged. They know they don't like exercising. They know they want to lose weight, but then they do something like join a gym where you're going to go and see muscle-bound people lifting 100 pounds, and you're immediately discouraged, right? Do what you like. So if it's walking, just walk. If it's swimming, just swim. If it's jogging, jog. Bicycling, bicycle. That's it. That's it. Just do something you like, but do it consistently, and everything falls into place. And it doesn't feel like such an uphill battle. So these are all the little interesting things you can do to stick to your goals and blend them into your lifestyle and things that you like to make it fun, and not follow other people just because you feel that's what everybody's doing. So try not to follow the Joneses and all this type of stuff for your own peace of mind.
Right. Because remember, it's your plan, your life, it's your fingerprint. So you got to be you, right? If you don't like to but the one thing, I will have to say this. The one good thing about my gym and in the classes is there are people of all sizes in the class.
Yeah.
And we have one instructor who is really well known for doing hard, difficult classes. And I started her classes after my breast cancer surgery. But I started it doing what I could do. And that's what I tell any new people that come into the class. Do what you can do. Don't feel like you have to keep up with the people who've been coming to these classes for 2 years, And I went to the class, and when I started, I didn't use any weights.
Right.
I just would do, if we were doing arm presses and they were doing 8 and 10 pounds, I was just doing my hands, right? We worked up to 3-pound weights, after weeks. So you take it at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you've got 21 goals, right? You've been overwhelmed. Step back, take a deep breath, chop it down to 7, whatever 7 you want. You don't have to have 1 from each one of the F's, just whatever 7 are more important to you out of that list of 21, right? And this will change over the course of a year, right? Because you pick some of these top 7, you may be done by like June, July, or August, right?
Yeah, but then you move on to the other ones that you didn't pick. Yeah.
You go back and you look at your 21 goals that you had, and you pick something different. Now, the other sheet that we posted it's called your ULA 1. And your ULA 1 is that one goal that's, and it may not have even made it, really, when you're thinking about it, it may not have made it to that top 7, right? But that one goal, which that you really want to do, really need to do, and if you hit it, it could transform anything and everything, right? So let's go back to the example of the triathlon in Hawaii, right? And the fact that you're 50 pounds overweight. Maybe that didn't make your top 7 because it's something you're not comfortable with. It's something you don't want to face. It's something you're embarrassed about, you're ashamed about, whatever the reason is. But again, remember, this is your plan and your plan only. You don't have to share this with anybody if you don't want. But you know that if you lost that weight, that it would have a ripple effect on all these other areas, right? Right? All these other areas, right? You lose weight, your fitness is going to improve. Your health is going to improve, right? And your family, it'll have effect on your family because maybe you're so out of weight that you don't want to go walking with your husband after dinner in the spring and summer, or you can't get down on the floor and play with your kids or your grandkids. It'll have an effect on your finances because maybe you'll finally stop that, triple latte, double whipped cream mocha, along with, the bagel and the schmear of cream cheese that you get every morning on your way to work, right? That you'll stop going to McDonald's at lunchtime, or Taco Bell, or Wendy's, or Pizza Hut, whatever floats your boat. So you'll be saving money, right? Right. So finance. Maybe it'll also can affect your field, which is your career. Because if you lost that weight, you'd feel better about yourself. Maybe you'd have more confidence and you'd raise your hand at work to take on that special project. You'd be willing to stand up and give presentations, even speak out in a meeting, right? In a meeting, right? If you lost that weight, you'd be able to maybe join your friends on a walk or join your friends at the, the outdoor art fair. Translates into fun, right? Do all of this stuff with your friends and your family, and you're feeling better about yourself and your health is better, to be having fun with life, right? So that's your ULA 1 is that one goal which in your heart of hearts, it's something you want to do and you need to do, and that it can have a ripple effect on all the other areas of your life. And that's your ULA 1.
Okay. So that is going to take some time for you to kind of figure out and you should take your time with it to figure out what that number one thing is. But I like how you say it has all these touch points. It's like it sits in the middle and it's like a spider web touching all your other goals. And you have to get that done in order to positively affect the other goals being attained. So think of it that way and look at it and just try and figure out what that number one is. In fact, as you were speaking, Katie, I was trying to figure out what is my number one ULA. So I'm going to have to go back to and look at that because I never actually, I have my list of goals, but I never looked at what I consider to be that number one pivotal goal. So I'm going to go back and do that exercise myself. So I encourage all of you to try and do that. All of you out there to try and do that as well. So this has been an amazing conversation. should. It's certainly one I love because as I said, everything begins with goal setting for me. I have no idea how to function without goals. But so I take my hat off to all those that do. Huh?
I said, and I'm new to it.
Yeah, I don't know how.
That,
so we're opposite. Well, we're not opposites anymore. We were at one point, but now we both set goals.
Right. And I didn't start setting my goals until like 2 years ago.
Okay.
So again, if you have a dream that you want to go on the ULA bus, send it to me. I'll put it on one of these like nice little stickers. And when I go to Nashville in December, I'm going to bring them and I'll slap them on the ULA bus for you.
But I'm going to put you on the spot because you said you've been setting goals now for 2 years. Now that you've been setting goals, could you imagine go back to not setting?
No, and particularly since this is what we're going to talk about like next month is the oranges and Skittles, and I do this every day, and like I said, and this sits out in front of me. So again, go ahead.
And on top of that, how do you find your life is moving compared to when you didn't set goals? Just curious, and then I think it'll help the audience. Because I can't speak to that because I've been setting goals for double-digit years.
For me, I think it seems to give me, first of all, a direction to my days, and then an overall sense of direction in my life. For lack of a better word, a balance, right? If I have goals that I'm working on. And I will be totally honest with you. I am not necessarily a driven person. I am certainly not as driven and as focused as Jen is. So for me, it is always a work in progress. To remember my focus, to remember what I want to accomplish, to remember, what are my 7, right? What do I need? What do I need to do to try and hit those 7 so I can cross them off my list? And it just gives me a sense of balance and direction to my day. And I don't know. I mean, because I'm now so wrapped up in ULA and sort of the ULA framework that I just think, what would I be doing? With my day.
So it's going to be interesting next month then when we address Joanna's point that she sets them, but to be consistent with them is where her challenge is. And perhaps even now she can get a little sense that it might be on the day-to-day. What are you doing day-to-day to help that? But we'll speak about that more next month. And I'd love to answer that point for her and kind of guide that because I'm sure she's not the only one.
No,
right?
It absolutely is the day-to-day, and we're going to talk about that next month. But it is the day-to-day.
Okay, so we'll start to wrap up. So at the end of the month, I believe it's the 24th, is when we have our accountability. And I also want to mention that the units, so the 7 ULA goal document as well as the ULA 1 document is in the Facebook group. So please go to the Facebook group, join the Facebook group, download the unit, try to do it, and then try to get to your ULA 1. We'll be back on March 24th, same back time, same back channel at 8 p.m. Eastern.
It's actually the 31st.
Oh, is it the 31st?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's the 31st. That's why I will try to do that again. Next time I'm going to ask Katie. So it's on the 31st at 8 p.m.
The last month, the 31st.
Sometimes I try to show Katie I'm really prepared on the date. It didn't work out too well today. So listen to Katie, don't listen to me. March 31st, 8 p.m. We'll be back to do the accountability check-in. So try to do the work, come with questions. As I said, it's going to be hard for people. It's not an easy thing if you're not used to setting goals, and it's not easy. and keeping them smart, especially checking that they're actually following the smart aspect of things and outline. So come to that, and we are willing to help you. Even if you have a goal you don't know, is this really a goal or is this a wish? Right? We'll be able to tell you. So that's March 31st, 8 p.m. Okay, and on that, I am your co-host Jen Drakes, and we're signing out. And Katie, say you always take us out with this. Go on.
Always remember, be grateful, have faith, and go get your ULA life.
Yes, ooh la la, awesome. That's a wrap, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we're out of here. Ah.